Good afternoon all. So this is my third Chat Drafter draft. This is where we use the Going Optimal Discord to round up 7 people to take on Ryan Spain from the Going Optimal Discord and stream on Twitch and have a good old, interesting old draft and play on Arena at best of 1. We're doing Eldraine, which I love. I'm not necessarily very good at it, but I love it. So Fires of Invention is a really weird build around. You cast the spells for free, but you can only cast spells on your turn and no more than 2 each turn. I'm not sure I'm entirely au fait with that. Cauldron Familiar is fine in a food or Witch's Oven deck. Lilia Headhunter is not a good knight. Keeper of Fables is good in the red-green non-creature deck. Giant Skewer in food, Mana Leaf from green-black food. Searing Barrage is good in a solid red deck. 7 Dwarves is good if you start picking them early and try and get 3, 4, 5, 7 Dwarves. These adventures aren't shabby. Charm Sleep's nice removal, and Guide Mother's quite impressive in a white aggro deck. So there's a few choices. We could cut white and try and get into a strong white deck. We could take Searing Barrage if we want to go adamant and red, but we're not cutting all the red from the pack. Cauldron Familiar is fine, but it's a bit of an ask. Green-black food's quite open. I'm not picking fires because I'm not entirely convinced. The question is, do I want Barrage or Guide Mother? Guide Mother's sad because the adventure's sorcery speed, which is not thrilling to me. But I've got to take one. So we'll start by taking Searing Barrage. And I don't even know if that's the right pick. But it's done. So we've got Hushbringer, which would have gone nice with Guide Mother. Grumgully, which is great in the green-red non-human deck. Rimrock Knight, which is a nice little combat trick followed by a body. Flutterfox is good anywhere, because the set's full of enchantments and artifacts. Curious Pair's fine in green-black food. I feel like it's a bit early to be taking a gold card. So what's the pick here? Flutterfox or Rimrock Knight? Puppet's genuinely not good. Red-White's normally a Knight's archetype. I'm going to cut red from the pack and take Rimrock Knight. Again, I'm not sure that's necessarily best. Grumgully may wheel if no one else fancies it. White's quite open. We passed a Guide Mother. Flutterfox won't come back. I like a combat trick. And we can stick in red for now. So we'll take Rimrock here. Not necessarily right. But that is what I am doing. We get to play first. I'm cooking dinner for the in-laws tonight, so I have to get high up the queue. Nicely, they made room for me because they know how much I love Eldraine. So we'll probably take a 7 Dwarves here, and now I still think Barrage over Dwarves was good to start. The other option is Trapped in the Tower, which is nice for me. We got Barrage, and we're going to be trying to press red, and we get to keep cutting red. So let's take Dwarves, and let's hope we see some more of them. If Ryan passes one, he may pass another. But 7 Dwarves is really only good if we get 3 of them. So, it's early days. We don't have to run the 7 dwarves. We can be pulled into another colour. None of the rares, even Hushbringer, has kind of seduced me into running into that colour. And Fire's not letting you play stuff on your opponent's turn means interaction is tricky. Obviously, red wants to be causing trouble. But if we can keep getting red and cutting it, there's another 7 dwarves. If we can keep getting red and cutting it, then we might get it from the left as well, passing right in pack 2, and we could end up solidly mono red. So I'm going to take another 7 dwarves here. Wheel is a good mana sink later on with the tap function. It's basically a manalith with a tap add-on. More Charm Sleep for removal. Gingerbroot's not shabby because of the activated ability, meaning only hasters can block it. So I'll take 7 dwarves here. I'm happy with that. Let's keep getting some. I mean, hell, if we can get 7 dwarves, the dream is real. Especially with some Ferocity of the Wilds, the 2-red enchantment that gives all creatures, non-human creatures, +1/+0 and trample. But we'll keep pressing the agenda here for now. Okay, so Weaselback Redcap is a nice mana sink as well, and is a 1-drop. Merchant's best in the blue-red. I try not to run Fling if I can avoid it. Fling's really only good when you've got a big old creature you can chuck over their head. Overwhelmed Apprentice is no reason to be pulled into blue, draw 2 just yet. Another Charm Sleep. Whee, someone down here is going to be charming the hell out of Ryan, because they're not making it back to him. So here I take Weaselback Redcap. That's better than any of the uncommons. I'm not being pulled into another colour right now, and I'm not taking Fling, and I don't fancy Merchant just yet. So Weaselback Redcap, a 1-drop, sticking with red for now, seeing what we can do to draw us into another colour. So, it's not a highly powered start to the draft. There's another Fires. That is most strange. So what do we like? The Embereth Paladin is not spectacular because it comes in as a 5/2 haste that usually dies to a 2-drop or a 3-drop. Improbable Alliance is a fine build around. We don't yet have draw cards, but we may get them, so we can speculate on Alliance. Which is always nice because it's the only thing that allows you to use food to drain your opponent, but doesn't feature great in red-black, which is normally knights and equipment. Because Embereth Paladin is not spectacular, because I'm not sure I've got the nous to build around Fires of Invention, I think I take Improbable Alliance here and see if I get a build around. Which I like more than Unicorn for red-white knights, and more than any of the black cards. So yeah, let's take Improbable Alliance and see where it goes. So now we're out of red cards. We can take Shambling Suit to stay mono. Unexplained Vision fits nicely with Improbable Alliance. Oh, I didn't even take Improbable Alliance. I took Reaper of Night. Brilliant. Good misclick. Well, because of that, Unexplained Vision is now not less attractive, and Smitten Swordmaster comes into play as part of the Knights Tribal with a bit of top end of the Reaper, which I'm not high on. Well, that was a glorious misclick. But we'll take Smitten Swordmaster here with no red in the pack. But as things stand, we're not wedded to a colour, any colour really. Just turning my mic down, I realise I'm drifting into the red with my loud tones. That's better. So that's 7. So next pick, and then we get the wheel. I doubt 7 dwarves wheeled, but if it did, that's great for us. But red is dead coming this way. We can take Elite Headhunter if we think we're going to end up in red-black. Ironcrag Feet is good for casting an expensive spell. So as down as I am on Elite Headhunter, 4 for a 2/3 menace that can ping some stuff isn't terrible. Blow Your House Down, I'm not big on. It's effectively a worse it's a worse Wrap in Flames from Theros. So yeah, I'm not into that. Wrap in Flames is much better for many reasons, including heroism. I think I'll take Elite Headhunter here reluctantly. It's better than Slipper because all my creatures are cheap anyway. Don't need to worry too much about haste just yet. Ironcrag Feet really is for casting some huge bomb, which I don't yet have. And I don't like Blow Your House Down. So we'll take Elite Headhunter here. It is at least in our colour pair. And it didn't wheel, but Fires did because no one else wants to build around it. So we'll take Elite Headhunter 2 here. And we're saying we'll either be mono red or red black if we run those. And we're looking a bit knighty, right? Red cap, Swordmaster, Knight, Headhunter, Headhunter. We'll see if we can press the agenda. And we'll see what red and black cards have wheeled here, because I think it's going to be a little dry for us now. But we're hoping with all those Fires wheeling that Grim, Pac-Man and Jank pass us a boatload of red. So here we take Lost Legion if we end up red-black. Prophet of the Peak is fine. 6 for a 5/5 that's Scry 2. Yeah, alright. But our 3-drop slot's empty, and if we end up red-black, Lost Legion is just what we want in that slot. And we're now looking very red-black Knight tribal. So we probably take the Lockthwain Paladin here, again over Prophet of the Peak. Forever Young's nice to recur the Swordmaster, and it's a cantrip, but it's not spectacular. We'll keep taking bodies. That's our 10th creature. We're not likely to run either of these, so we'll take the Spectre Shriek, but I would be disappointed to run it. I'm going to sideboard it immediately. So in terms of our curve, our 3 slots looking dire. These cards don't matter. On to pack. Oh, we got the Slipper wheeled. That's fine. We'll take that. So Vantress Gargoyle works best in black-blue mill. Our black's very weak right now. Sorcerer's Broom is great in a sacrifice theme. We've got Elite Headhunters to do sacrificing. You can really start spamming brooms if you do that. Raging Redcap is nice because obviously it fits in our 3-drop slot fairly handily. If we'd been doing a bit more sacrificing, I'd take Sorcerer's Broom, food or something. So the dream is to get loads of mana up, sacrifice food, create a Sorcerer's Broom, 6 mana up after food. Both Sorcerer's Brooms can create another Sorcerer's Broom, and before you know it, you're going wide. But I think I'm taking the Raging Redcap to stay in red and Knights. That's possibly not best. These cards are probably all stronger than it, but I'm way out of Wandermare's range. I'm not great in red-green, and Grumgully disappeared. So let's take the Raging Redcap, and I'm prepared to be told that was a diabolical pick. But depending on what else comes out, if we can push mono red, we can start picking up those Dwarven Mines as well. Got 11 creatures, 8 of which are knights. So some more Smitten Swordmasters starts to look sassy. Brimstone Trebuchet would fit nicely in the 3-drop slot. So Acclaimed Contender is a glorious White Knight card. And we've got sufficiently little black, although it does affect the Elite Headhunters, that taking Elite Acclaimed Contender, and speculating on being able to splash isn't awful, while probably not good. But the power level of that is way bigger than Barge In and Thrill. Barrow Witches is fine for recurring a knight, but no knight is as strong as the Acclaimed Contender, I think. So we're going to take it and speculate on it. It's a hell of a speculate. It's a very long shot. But we have time if we start getting things like Inspiring Knights, Inspiring Captain, I think they're called, to go red-white instead. And cutting Elite Headhunters doesn't hurt my parts. You know, it's the weakest of the off-colour knights. So we'll spec on that. It may get cut, and that may be lamentable, but we'll see how it goes. At the moment, this is very moderately powered. See if I can hope for more. So, nothing in white. Second Barrage or second Swordmaster is the question here. My sense says second Swordmaster, because there's a chance to do some real damage there. And we have to start accepting whether or not we are going to be bi-colour. Headhunter can always be cast on 4 there, so we don't give up a lot there. I'm going to take second Swordmaster, and I might be wrong. Barrage might be the pick here. I'm going to cut Contender straight away. With no Dragonfire, Barrage may have been the pick. We'll hope we get some Slaying Fire or Dragonfire or some sort of removal. And instead we get absolutely nothing. Say it again. So we will take Knight of the Keep. I'm genuinely surprised red is this closed off coming from the right when I did my best to cut in pack 1. We don't want a second Reaper. Our 3-drop sloth is pretty low. So we'll accept Knight of the Keep and continue to look at our options. But of the 4 Knight builds, so out of Boros, Orzhov, and Rakdos, and Mardu, Mardu is the weakest because of the draw of being adamant. And being in 3 colours means Headhunter's never a 4-drop. It's a 6 or an 8-drop if you're off colour. So I'm reluctant to spec on a ton of white, unless I end up cutting a bunch of other stuff. But Redcap Raiders fits very nicely. Inspiring Veteran is the thing that pulls us into red-white instead. We'd lose our Swordmasters and the Elite Headhunters and we'd be going a completely different direction. Is it time to speculate on that? Over Jousting Dummy or Redcap Raiders? Yeah, Redcap Raiders or Inspiring Veteran. A janky Mardu Knights build could be the order of the day here. Ugh. It makes me feel soiled. But I'm picking it. And then Frosty the World shows up. I think we take Frosty of the Wilds here and we start to push back on what we're building. Or another Raging Redcap. Ogre, our 3-drop slot's worse, I think. I think I take Raging Redcap here. Our deck at the moment in a janky Mardu Knights build looks something like that. We'll take out Reaper at the top end. If we start going red-white, that's how we look instead. 9 creatures. Bit of work to do. And that's our combined deck, where Headhunters are only going to drop turn 6 and are kind of crummy anyway. I think we have to see if we get pulled into white further, but Veteran and Contender are about as strong as being pulled in by the Swordmasters. So we take Redcap Raiders here in the 3-drop slot. We don't need another Slipper and we don't want a cow. The question is, if the tournament grounds wheel, do we take that to cast our white spells, and how gross is that? Almost as gross as using a basic land. But if I'm going to embarrass myself publicly, I might as well go for it. I'd need to do something about the 4-drop slot to cut the Headhunters and the Paladin and the Reaper and the Knights to go Boros instead. It's not there yet. But as long as we're not being sent... As long as we're not being sent red, we're going to have to do something else. Revenge of Ravens is great here as long as you don't have someone running over us. So we're going to take that. And that pulls us back into red-black. That's a nice late pick for us. And that's just on the wheel. So that's gone all the way around, which suggests that black is more open than white. If we can get a second Revenge of Ravens, life starts to look a lot better. So we're fine for creatures now. We're going to take Giant Skewer. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 14 creatures in red-black. And now we've got a reason to be black. I'm not going to start taking Knights of the Keep. So we'll take Giant Skewer here. Make some food when we peck a player. So, Tournament Grounds did wheel. So we can keep it in if we want to spec on the Inspiring Veteran, the Contender. The EV pick is probably barge in and cut the white at this point. Tournament Grounds is genuinely that bad. So we'll take barge in. And we're going to cut Inspiring Acclaimed. And we're going to see how bad our Rakdos deck is. We're not going to take the Dwarven Mine because we're not running it unless we go mono red. And at this point, with 2 Swordmasters and a Revenge of Ravens and a 4-drop slot that looks like it does, I think we have to be Rakdos. So we'll take the Puppet, which we won't run. I'd rather peck my own eyes out. We take Silver Flame Ritual in case we end up going Boros or similar. But again, I don't buy it. Now we finally take we take the Insatiable Appetite. We're not running either. Bye, doggy. You're going to go see Joe and Jack? With Jenny? Going to go see Joe and Jack? And Nelson? Yeah. Another barge in's fine. Okay, so we're on to pack 3. If we get past a sheaf of amazing red cards, we go mono red. Otherwise, we're Rakdos. And second Revenge of Ravens is chef's kiss. Better than Treb. The removal is nice, bake into a pie, but we're not heavy black. We're light black with red. Second Revenge of Ravens just looks real sassy to me. Bake into a pie is my second choice, but double Revenge. Woof! If we can get both of those out. So what do we start cutting? We might cut the equipment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures. We're starting to get up with the creature count. Yeah, removal would be good. We need some red cap melee, some slaying fire, some dragon fire, some barrage now. But double revenge, if we can get either or both out and they don't have a true love's kiss, can really just, terminate the game. It's only best of 1, so we only get 1 shot. I'm 1-1 against Ryan as well. I lost M21 with a black-white deck that was crap, and I won in Amonkhet. Okay, so here we take the bake into a pie over Red Cap Raiders, definitely over Mad Rat. We've not got enough draw synergy. Hey, if we're lucky, this scored in Cauldron Wheels, and we can use that for a bit of removal. But pie is the pick here for sure. So happy with pie. We're probably cutting a barge in if we start to run up on card count. But this is starting to look Rakdosian. A Steelclaw Lance would just be so good with our deck. We could even cut the 2 dwarves. If we don't see a third and we see more knights, including Smittens, we might start to sift those out. But yeah, some 3-drop removals like Slaying Fires would be lovely right now. But we've got a deck, we've got a plan. We started out red, we saw which way our colours were pulling us. It turned out to be slightly more black than white. So here, because Ogre Errant doesn't do a ton for us and we're short on 3 drops, we'll take the Tempting Witch. Yeah, I'm happy with the Tempting Witch, thinking I'm going to put the Giant Skewer back in, which generates some... So we've now got a deck, right? It's not necessarily great, but we've got creatures, we've got combat tricks, we've got a couple of pieces of removal, we have a game plan, get the knights down, and also use the witch to ping them if we have to get over the top, double revenge to gum up their attacks. It's not necessarily perfect, and it may not be the best deck in the world, and Elite Headhunters are certainly not the best knights, but it's a thing. So let's see if we can make the thing gas. We now have 31, so we've got 14 more picks, give or take, to try and optimize this. So here we take Foreboding Fruit to get some card advantage and possibly make a food. Way better than Fling, and we are not running white. So there is our 23 card deck. Our 4-drop slot's very heavy, and Media was talking to me about this just today. When your curve is quite high, which it is here, you want to run 18 lands to guarantee you hit your 4th slot, because we need to get those Revenges and Headhunters down ASAP. But yeah, so what we're going to start cutting is the question. When we start seeing cards we want more in our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 creatures. Cutting the 7 dwarves if we don't see more of them is definitely viable. Cutting the Reaper is fine, but it's fine to have at the top end. Forcing the opponent to discard 2 cards can really screw up their plans. So Fireball Knight is off colour. Grumgull is not what we're doing. Lock Thwain we're unlikely to be adamant, so I think we take another 7 dwarves. And try and get up to 4/4. Yes, I'm happy with that. We cut a barge in, because we want to keep our knights up. for Smitten. Alright, we've got a game plan. It might not be the best, but it's something. We'll carry it back with us. She's not going for a walk while she's around there. You can always put me on the lead to take me over. I'll pee on the lamppost. Yeah, so, yeah, another barrage. Won't like you see a Dragonfire at this point. Maybe a Slaying Fire. Red Cap Melee, I would definitely main deck. Oh, shut my mouth. I really want the third Swordmaster. I really, really, really want it. But I feel like right now, a Scorching Dragonfire is kind of what the deck wants more. More than a Legion. More than a Legion. Yeah, let's take the Scorching Dragonfire, because that's not coming back again. And it's lamentable we don't get a Swordmaster, but I can live with my choices. So, which fruit... Okay, we got another Swordmaster. Yaldi. Alright, because we've got Foreboding Fruit and Bacon to a Pie and Tempting Witch, that's 3 sources of food for the Witch. And I might do away with the Witch and Foreboding Fruit. But that was good. We were rewarded by not taking the Swordmaster when we took the Dragonfire, and then we were immediately handed Swordmaster. So, you know, that's the dream. Okay, so Joust is not truly removal. People might think it is, but invariably, because you're only getting a +1 buff, it's a trade. So we're going to take Barrage even though it's top-end removal. And now we have to start making some serious cuts. We may cut the Witch food plan, which makes our 3-drop slot a little light. We'll take a Golden Egg here, which we're probably not going to run, unless we put the Witch in, because it's also food. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 knights, which makes the Swordmaster Gambit way more attractive than the Witch Food Gambit. Alright, we'll take another Red Cap Raiders over the Barrow Witches, because there's no one knight we really want to pull back, and our 3-drop slot starts to look bad when we remove the Witch Food Gambit. Comme ça. And I think I ditch Reaper at the top end. We take Noble here, which we don't run. So 13 Knights, double Revenge of Ravens, 4 pieces of removal, a combat trick, and 3 of the 7 dwarves. Not shabby. If you're going to play Rakdos Knights, everything but the Steelclaw Lance is here. But I'd welcome thoughts on if I took the wrong direction in the draft somewhere. At this point, I'm going to cut an Elite Headhunter for a Lockswain Paladin. The Menace is... 3-2 Menace is better than 2-3 Menace with some weird sack ability. And that's our deck. Feedback, welcome. So I'm up first against Ryan. So I will stop recording and you'll see the video in a second. Thank you for watching this. Feedback very welcome on my drafting. And I will see you in a moment for the game.